Okay, so ready to dive into a career path that's a little bit different.
Always up for a challenge.
This one is about becoming a funeral attendant.
Okay.
It's not just a job.
Right.
It's about being there for families
Yeah,
during one of the most difficult times in their lives.
absolutely.
And that means the interview process,
Yeah,
it's going to be unique too.
definitely unique.
So to help us navigate these kind of tricky waters,
Yeah.
we're using RoleCatcher's guides today.
Okay.
Their career guide and interview guide.
Lots of great insights there.
From understanding the role
Right.
to nailing those tough interview questions.
Yeah.
So let's just jump right in.
Okay, sounds good.
Imagine you're sitting across from the hiring manager
All right.
and they ask, tell us about your previous experience in the funeral industry.
Okay.
How do you make your answer stand out?
Yeah, that's a common one.
Especially if you haven't worked directly in a funeral home before.
Right. Well, it's where those transferable skills come in. And RoleCatcher's Career Guide does a good job of breaking this down.
Right.
Like, think about any job where you've dealt with the public,
Okay.
maybe in customer service.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had to handle a difficult customer
Oh, yeah.
with grace and empathy,
Sure.
even though it's a different setting?
Right.
That ability to stay calm and composed under pressure
Yep.
is incredibly valuable in a funeral home.
Absolutely.
And then think, too, if you've ever worked in a role that requires attention to detail,
Okay.
careful handling of delicate items,
Yeah.
like in a retail setting, or even as a librarian,
Okay.
that experience can be relevant, too.
Right. It's about showing that you can handle like the practical aspects.
Yes.
Like setting up floral arrangements or ensuring that the chapel is immaculate.
Exactly.
Now, a question that I'm sure comes up often.
Yeah.
How do you handle difficult or emotional situations when working with grieving families?
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
You need to be both empathetic and professional.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a delicate balance. It is a delicate balance, and it's okay to acknowledge that challenge in your answer.
Yeah, I agree.
The interview guide actually suggests using phrases like,
Okay.
I understand this is a difficult time,
Right.
to show you're in tune with their emotions,
That's a good tip.
and then followed up with a specific example
Yep.
of a time that you provided support or comfort to someone in a difficult situation.
I like that.
Maybe you helped a friend through a loss or volunteered at a nursing home. To the listener, think about those moments where you've had to be a shoulder to cry on,
Right.
a good listener,
Yeah.
or a calming presence.
Those experiences are more relevant than you might think.
I think so, too.
It's about showcasing your human side, your ability to connect with people on an emotional level.
That's a great point.
So the next question in RoleCatcher's Guide
Okay.
is all about ensuring funeral services are conducted with respect and dignity.
How do you convey that you understand the gravity of this responsibility?
You know, this is where doing your research on the specific funeral home comes in handy.
Go for sure.
Do they specialize in certain types of services
Mm-hmm.
or cater to specific cultural communities?
That's a great point.
Because tailoring your answer to their specific practices shows you've done your homework
It does.
and that you're genuinely interested in their approach.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's talk about a question that might seem a little unexpected.
All right.
How do you prioritize tasks and manage time in a fast-paced environment?
Okay.
Now, people might assume funeral work is always somber and slow-paced.
Right. It's a common misconception. Behind the scenes, there's a lot of coordination,
Yes.
quick thinking involved.
Yeah.
The interview guide advises highlighting examples of your organizational skills and your ability to multitask effectively.
So if you've ever worked in a restaurant,
Yeah.
you've probably had to juggle multiple orders,
Right.
deal with demanding customers, and keep everything running smoothly.
Exactly.
That's valuable experience.
Absolutely. It's about showcasing your ability to thrive in a dynamic environment
For sure.
and staying calm under pressure.
Now let's shift gears to a question that might feel a bit daunting.
Okay.
How do you ensure legal and regulatory requirements are met?
Okay.
This might not be the most exciting topic,
Right.
but it's crucial in this field.
Oh, absolutely. There are specific laws governing the handling of deceased individuals
Right.
and funeral arrangements.
So how do you approach this question if you haven't worked directly in the funeral industry?
Well, you can highlight any experience you have with compliance in other fields.
Okay.
For example, if you worked in healthcare
Mm-hmm.
and had to follow HIPAA regulations regarding patient privacy,
Okay.
that demonstrates your understanding of confidentiality and legal procedures.
That's a great example. And if you've taken any courses or training related to death care law,
Yeah.
Definitely mention those. Shows you're proactive.
Yeah.
And serious about adhering to the highest professional standards.
Absolutely.
Okay, we've covered some of the meatier questions so far.
All right.
Let's move on to a few that might be phrased a bit differently,
Okay.
but are still designed to assess your suitability for the role.
Sounds good. Let's see what other challenges RoleCatcher has prepared for us.
Great. One question that might come up is, tell me about a time you had to deal with a conflict in the workplace.
Okay.
How did you handle it?
Right.
Really trying to gauge your interpersonal skills
Right.
and your ability to navigate challenging situations.
Yeah. It's important to choose an example that demonstrates your ability to remain calm. Listen to all sides.
Yeah.
And find a resolution that respects everyone involved.
And it doesn't have to be a major conflict.
Right.
Even something as simple as resolving a scheduling disagreement with a coworker
Exactly.
can showcase your communication and problem-solving skills.
The key is to focus on the process you followed and the positive outcome that you achieved.
Okay, another question that might pop up is,
Okay.
how do you ensure your workspace and equipment are maintained to the highest standards of cleanliness and safety?
Okay.
This might seem straightforward, but it's an important aspect of the funeral attendant's role.
Absolutely. You're handling sensitive equipment and working in an environment where hygiene is paramount.
If you have any training in workplace safety or first aid, definitely mention that as well.
A great point. It shows you're proactive about maintaining a safe environment.
All right, moving on to a question that focuses on a crucial aspect of any job, but especially this one.
Okay.
How do you ensure paperwork and documentation are completed accurately and on time?
This is where those organizational skills come in handy again.
Right.
You can mention any systems or techniques you use to manage your workload and ensure accuracy.
Have you used any specific software programs for tracking tasks or managing documents? Mention those if they're relevant to the funeral home's operations.
Yeah. Right. And if you've had any training in record keeping or data entry, those are valuable assets to highlight.
Okay, and finally, let's address a question that speaks to the increasing diversity of our society.
Yeah, right.
And the need for sensitivity and respect
Yes.
in all aspects of life, including funeral services.
Okay.
It might ask us something like, how do you ensure funeral services are carried out in a culturally sensitive and respectful manner?
This is a great opportunity to showcase your experience working with people from diverse backgrounds.
Right.
And your understanding of different cultural customs and beliefs surrounding death.
Have you ever had to adapt your communication style or approach based on someone's cultural background? Share an example that demonstrates your sensitivity and willingness to learn.
And if you've had any specific training in cultural sensitivity or diversity, definitely highlight that.
It shows you're committed to providing inclusive and respectful care.
Absolutely.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here, exploring some of the most common interview questions
Yeah.
you might encounter when applying for a funeral attendant role.
Lots of good information.
But how do you take your preparation to the next level
Right.
and really make your answers shine?
Okay.
That's where RoleCatcher's AI features come in, and we'll dive into those right after this.
All right. I'm excited to hear more about that. So we talked about the questions you'll likely face and how to start crafting those answers.
Right.
But there's a tool that can take your preparation from good to stellar.
I'm listening.
RoleCatcher's AI.
AI?
It's not just about finding jobs, it's about giving you a personalized edge in the entire process.
I admit when I first heard AI for funeral interviews, I was a bit skeptical.
Yeah.
It sounded a little too futuristic
Right.
for such a traditional field.
I can see that.
But after digging into RoleCatcher,
Yeah.
I see how practical it really is.
It's all about maximizing your potential
Okay.
and presenting yourself in the best possible light.
Okay.
Remember when we talked about tailoring your answers to the specific funeral home? The RoleCatcher's AI can help with that.
You mentioned uploading your resume and the job description.
Yeah.
What happens then?
Okay.
Does it magically rewrite my entire resume?
It's more like having a super attentive proofreader
Yeah.
and career advisor in one.
Okay.
RoleCatcher's AI compares your resume to the job description,
Okay.
looking for keywords, skills,
Yeah.
and experience.
Right.
It highlights any gaps,
Right.
suggesting areas you might want to strengthen.
So, for example, if the funeral home mentions experience with a specific funeral arrangement
Right.
software,
Right.
I haven't used that exact one.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher would flag that.
Exactly.
Okay.
It might suggest highlighting similar software you've used or emphasizing your quick learning abilities.
Okay.
It's about presenting your skills in a way that directly aligns with what the employer is looking for.
That makes sense for the resume part.
Yeah.
But how does AI help with actual interview answers?
Okay.
I'm still a little wary of sounding like a robot, reciting pre-programmed responses.
Don't worry, that's not how it works at all.
Okay.
RoleCatcher's AI is more like a personal interview coach.
All right.
Remember that tough question about handling difficult situations?
Yeah.
Well, you can type your practice answer into RoleCatcher, and the AI analyzes it for clarity, relevance, even tone.
So it's not about giving me a script.
No.
It's about helping me refine what I already have.
Precisely.
Okay.
It might suggest adding more specific examples, rephrasing something to be more impactful,
Right.
or even adjusting your tone to sound more empathetic or confident.
Okay, that's actually really helpful.
Good.
But what if I get nervous in the actual interview and forget all my carefully crafted answers?
Right.
Stage fright is a real thing even for funeral attendants.
That's where RoleCatcher's video practice feature comes in.
Okay.
You can record yourself answering common interview questions,
Okay.
and the AI analyzes your body language, your pacing, everything. It's like having a mock interview with an expert who gives incredibly detailed feedback.
So it's not just about what I say.
Right.
It's about how I say it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Nonverbal communication is crucial in any interview, but especially in a field where empathy and professionalism are so important.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher's AI can help you project confidence and sincerity.
I'm starting to see how this could be a game changer.
Yeah,
It's like having a secret weapon in your pocket,
I like that.
helping you refine your presentation and boost your confidence.
Speaking of shining brighter,
Okay.
let's touch on a question that gets to the heart of what it takes to be a funeral attendant.
Okay.
We talked about the emotional demands,
Right.
but there's a physical aspect too, right?
Right. We're talking about lifting and carrying coffins.
Yes.
Often multiple times a day.
Exactly, and it's not just lifting. You need to be able to stand for long periods, walk, bend, and move with grace and respect, even when you're carrying a heavy weight.
It's a demanding job,
It is.
both physically and emotionally. And I love that RoleCatcher doesn't shy away from those realities.
Right. They also address the often irregular work hours.
Okay.
You might be needed on evenings and weekends,
Yeah.
especially during busy periods.
So to our listener out there,
Yes.
before you even walk into that interview room, take some time to really consider if you're prepared for those demands.
That's such an important point because while a career as a funeral attendant can be incredibly rewarding, it's not for everyone.
Right.
It takes a special kind of dedication and resilience.
Okay. We've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
Interview questions, AI prep tips,
Yeah.
and even some of the practical realities of the job.
I think it's been a really good overview.
What's one final thought you want to leave our listener with?
Remember, this is a career where you can make a real difference in people's lives during their time of need.
Okay.
It's about providing comfort, support, and a sense of dignity during a difficult transition.
Beautifully said. And if this deep dive has sparked your interest, you might want to explore some of the related career guides that RoleCatcher suggests.
Great idea. They have guides for funeral directors, embalmers, even cemetery attendants.
Wow.
You never know where your curiosity might lead you.
All right, we're going to wrap up this deep dive with a look at some of the broader trends shaping the funeral industry.
Okay, sounds good.
Stay tuned. You know, we've been talking a lot about like the skills and qualities you need to be a funeral attendant, but I'm curious about the bigger picture.
Okay.
What are some of the trends that are shaping the funeral industry as a whole?
Yeah.
RoleCatcher's Career Guide actually touches on this.
It does.
Which I found fascinating.
Yeah, it's a field that's constantly evolving,
Right.
adapting to societal shifts.
Okay.
One of the most notable trends is the growing emphasis on personalization.
Personalization. Okay.
People are moving away from traditional cookie-cutter funerals, seeking more unique ways to celebrate the lives of their loved ones.
So it's less about somber rituals and more about creating a meaningful tribute
Yes.
that reflects the individual's personality and passions.
Exactly. We're seeing a rise in themed funerals,
Okay.
personalized music selections, even incorporating elements of the deceased's hobbies or interests into the service. It's about making it a truly personal farewell.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
It makes sense that as society becomes more individualistic, that would extend to how we approach death and remembrance.
For sure.
What other trends are you seeing?
Another significant shift is the increasing focus on environmental sustainability.
Okay.
People are becoming more conscious of their environmental footprint,
Right.
and that includes funeral practices.
So we're talking about eco-friendly options like biodegradable coffins.
Yes.
and natural burial grounds.
Exactly. These options are becoming increasingly popular,
Okay.
especially among younger generations who are more environmentally aware.
It's amazing how even a field as traditional as funeral service
I know, it's pretty amazing.
is embracing these modern values.
Yeah, it shows a real responsiveness to the changing needs and preferences of society.
Absolutely. And for someone considering a career as a funeral attendant,
Right.
it's important to be aware of these trends
Yeah.
and demonstrate an openness to adapting to new practices and technologies.
Precisely, the funeral industry is a dynamic field,
Yeah.
and those who can adapt and grow with it will be the most successful.
Well, we've covered so much in this deep dive,
We have.
from the nitty-gritty of interview questions
Right.
to the broader trends shaping the funeral industry.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
It has. And I hope our listener feels more equipped to navigate this unique career path.
Me too.
Remember, a career as a funeral attendant is not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not.
It's a demanding role, both emotionally and physically.
Yeah, but it's also a deeply meaningful one,
Right.
offering the chance to make a real difference in people's lives during their time of need.
And don't forget the incredible resources that RoleCatcher provides.
Oh yes, their guides. AI features and career insights can be invaluable tools
For sure.
as you embark on this journey.
So to our listener, we wish you all the best in your pursuit of this unique and rewarding career.
Absolutely.
And remember, no matter what path you choose,
Yeah.
approach it with empathy, professionalism, and a genuine desire to serve others.
Beautifully said.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
It's been my pleasure.